Okay, what's going on, guys? It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Joe here today. I am on YouTube this time rather than Instagram. A few of you may know me from that platform, but I thought I would create a YouTube channel just to go over my collection, maybe teach myself a little bit more about these cards. So if you know anything about them that I don't explain them, please feel free to drop it in the comments below. But also maybe educate some of you guys about if you're getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Or if you're already in it and want to know a little bit more, maybe I can show you guys some things that you didn't know already. So today we're going to be talking about the 10,000 Dragon. This is a pretty special card in terms of occasion. This is the 10,000th unique Yu-Gi-Oh! Card created by Konami. So, you know, for that occasion, they've given this card its own rarity. It's called the 10,000 Secret Rare rarity. To the untrained eye, people might just think this looks like a normal Starlight Rare, but it's not. It's actually, you know, technically the 10,000 Secret Rare rarity. So the difference between this and the normal Starlight Rare is the name is red. I don't know if you can see, if I can catch that in the light. Normally on Starlight Rares, the name would just be silver. And then also, depending on, you know, how you hit this card in the light, you can kind of see here, it's got the 10,000th embossed inside of the text box here, which is really cool. And of course, this is unique to this card. This isn't in any other Starlight Rare. So because this card has its own rarity, and because it's kind of like a milestone card, the 10,000th Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, people are seeing this as more of a investment card and a collectible card rather than, you know, a playable card in the actual TCG. Currently, this card's value is worth around $1,500. So if you was to pull it pack fresh, you would expect to get around that mark. So this card is quite easily one of the most expensive cards you can pull out straight from a pack and just resell. It has one of the highest resale values ever. So that of course makes it you know, quite vulnerable to forgeries and fakes. You know, there's already loads and loads and loads of proxy cards on eBay for the 10,000 Dragon, you know, selling for £20, $25, something around that mark. And you know, in my head, what's stopping someone from just buying a proxy card and then relisting it on eBay and just removing the word proxy and selling it as a real card? You know, to the untrained eye, someone might be fooled by a fake card. So that's what I'm going to be talking a little bit about now, what to look out for in the 10,000 Dragon. So first of all, a few things to point out. It will depend on where you are location-wise on the world, if you're buying a North American print or a European print, because there are differences, even in normal Starlight Rares, between North American prints and European prints. So I'll quickly go over that just now. So here I have two normal Starlight Rares, one European and one North American. So this European Starlight, I know is legit because I pulled it myself. This is actually one of the reasons why I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Collecting, is because I just randomly one day bought a booster box. I had no idea what cards were inside, and I actually managed to pull this card, which was, yeah, super awesome, you know, researching and finding out how much it's worth and how rare it is. So typically the differences between North American and European Starlight Rares is that the European Starlight Rares usually tend to be a lot more glossy, and also the border around the edges of the card, they are a lot darker. And overall, from what I've seen, is that there is more contrast on the European print Starlight Rares compared to the North American. Yeah, so as you can see with this North American Starlight Rare, the edges of the card tends to be a lighter grey compared to a darker grey on the European print, and the card itself just seems to be a little bit more matted rather than glossy. And in my opinion, I think the North American Starlight Rares do look better. But of course, there's nothing we can do about that. That's just the way things are printed in Europe compared to America. The main thing to look out for though, especially when you're looking into expensive cards like this, and especially the 10,000 Dragon, is that there is differences, in perhaps how the Starlight Rare looks. If it does look a bit more grey, or it does have a bit more contrast to it, chances are it could be a European print instead of a North American. Looking at this 10,000 Dragon now, you should be able to tell that it is a European print. It's rather waxy, really glossy, and that's something that you would find in these newer European cards, especially the Ghost Rares. It's really common to find the Ghost Rares to be really waxy. And also, of course, around the border of the card, it is more of a darker grey rather than a lighter grey. And actually, when I first bought this card, I thought that it could have been fake because of how glossy and waxy it was, and because of how much contrast there is in this card compared to what I had seen online with the North American prints. It did go through my mind that this could potentially be a fake proxy card, but there are a few telltale signs to look out for, which can help identify a fake and a real card. So here I'm going to give a shout out to YuGiOh Tube, because he created a video basically highlighting some key areas in the 10,000 Dragon to look out for to distinguish whether or not it's a real or fake card. So I'll link his video down in the description below. And I'll try and put up a picture on screen between a real and a fake card. I'll even take a picture of this one I have in my hands here so we can see the true differences. But a key area to look out for is the dragon/effect text in the text box here. There seems to be a reoccurring pattern with the fake cards, is that they really struggle to replicate the texts or the fonts that are on the legitimate cards. So the font for the dragon/effect will be slightly different. It's a little bit bolder, and also, as you can see, the capital D and the capital E for dragon and effect, they're slightly larger compared to the fake version of the card. The capital D and the capital E is a lot bigger compared to the rest of the text. And that's the main way I think you should be able to tell whether or not the 10,000 Dragon is real or not, is just looking at that text. If it's a little bit bolder and there's a lot of size differencing between the capital letters and the rest of the word, you should be able to tell. But also, just like any other Yu-Gi-Oh card, the Eye of Anubis is really a great way to tell if it's real or fake. The real cards usually have a little bit of circling around the edges of the Eye of Anubis, and on a lot of fake cards they tend to be square, just completely sharp corners. And again, with the majority of fake cards out there, I always look at the stars. Usually on the fake cards, stars tend to be really sharp, and on the real cards, the stars, they seem to be a lot softer, so that's another sign which I like to look out for. And I've also seen a lot of people say just to look at the starlight effect on the card, because you should be able to tell if it's real or fake just by looking at the starlight effect. But again, like I mentioned, between the differences on the North American Starlight Rares and the European Starlight Rares, sometimes that can be a little tricky. If it's a really good fake, then it could just look like a European print of the card or a North American print of the card, for example. So I would definitely say the number one way to distinguish if it's a real or fake card is to look at the dragon/effect text. But yeah, I think this card is a really awesome one to have in your collection. I picked this one up for quite a bit less than the market value, and the reason being for that is because if I flip it over, there is actually a factory defect. There's a really light scratch on the back. I don't know if you can see, just like the back middle of the card right here. If I can get that in the light, you should be able to see. And the seller I bought it off, he was on eBay, and he had a perfect track record, so there was nothing really fishy going on with him. And he said that he just pulled this straight from a pack, and it's been in a top loader ever since. But unfortunately, because of this factory defect, it does obviously impact the value. So I managed to pick this one up for quite a bit less, which was good. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This was my first video. I hope I can help you out with identifying whether or not the 10,000 Dragon you're looking at is real or fake. You know, I got pretty scared when I first opened this up, seeing how glossy the card was. And it wasn't until I started to research and educate myself on the differences between the North American and European prints when I then realized that this was, fortunately, a real 10,000 Dragon, which is awesome. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this helps. And yeah, peace.